Good Thursday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Here are a few of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. Search engine giant Google will pay nearly $40 million to the state of Washington to settle a lawsuit over the way it collects and uses location data. A local law enforcement veteran is the new director of the Wenatchee Valley's Emergency Dispatch Center. And in weather, record high temperatures are expected tomorrow and Saturday before we see a big cool down early next week. A Cle Elum woman was killed after the car she was driving struck the back of another car yesterday afternoon 4 miles east of Cle Elum. According to the Washington State Patrol, 3 cars were eastbound on Highway 970 about 5:30 p.m. when the lead car stopped to make a left turn onto Red Bridge Road. The auto following the lead car had also stopped, but the third car, a 2017 Volkswagen Jetta being driven by 37-year-old Alicia J. Vaughn, collided with the second car, which subsequently hit the first car. Vaughn, who was not wearing a seatbelt, was pronounced dead at the scene. The drivers and passengers in the other cars did not require aid. The cause of the accident remains under investigation. East Wenatchee police say themselves were the victims of a burglary that was discovered over the weekend. About 9:30 Saturday night, officers found that someone had broken into the vehicle impound area behind East Wenatchee City Hall. Once there, the male suspect got into a minivan that had been seized by a patrol officer and was being held while police requested a search warrant. Police Chief Rick Johnson says items were taken from the vehicle, but it's unclear whether the break-in was an effort to steal evidence related to the initial criminal investigation. The department issued this surveillance photo of the masked suspect. Clearest identifying mark is probably the white Nike sneakers. If you recognize the suspect or have other information, call Rivercom at 663-9911 and ask to speak to East Wenatchee Officer Hernandez. The operators of 2 former massage parlors in Wenatchee may be on the run from the law, but that hasn't stopped them from suing the police task force that seized their assets. Lin Hui Yan and his wife Yan Yang are wanted on warrants charging them with organized crime and promoting prostitution through massage salons they operated in Wenatchee and other Washington towns. Those were shut down by a Columbia River Drug Task Force raid on March 1st, in which police also seized about $150,000 in bank assets, which they suspect were proceeds from illicit sex work conducted at that business. The Yans were not arrested and are still at large. A Bellevue-based attorney for the couple filed a lawsuit on Monday in Chelan County Court saying they were never served a proper legal notice of the seizure. NCWLIFE News has reached out to the law firm for comment but has not received any reply. Search engine giant Google will pay nearly $40 million to the state of Washington to settle a lawsuit over the way it collects and uses location data. Attorney General Bob Ferguson says that's more than double what Washington might have stood to receive had it joined a similar settlement with other states. The lawsuit argued Google continued to collect users' location data even when they tried to opt out and didn't disclose how the data would be used. The court-enforced settlement requires the company to be more transparent with consumers. When we come back, Commissioner of Public Lands and gubernatorial candidate Hillary Franz paid a visit to Wenatchee today. A local law enforcement veteran is the new director of the Wenatchee Valley's Emergency Dispatch Center. The Brewster community will pay respects over Memorial Day to 2 young locals who died serving in Vietnam. And we'll tell you about 2 brothers who have more than 60 years of accident-free driving between them as coach operators for Link Transit. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Commissioner of Public Lands Hillary Franz joined Alma Chacon and the team at the Cafe to discuss the fight against wildfires. Cafe is a partner of the Department of Natural Resources Wildfire Ready Neighbors program that works to reduce the risk of wildfires and what they pose on properties, homes, and communities. The event hosted representatives from organizations like the Red Cross, Our Valley, Our Future, and the fire districts to hear about updates and needs. CAFE has been a recent leader in local environmental justice work, specifically in regards to educating and providing resources in both English and Spanish. Fran said CAFE has added community resilience that was needed during wildfire season.
For us, this has been a really significant turn of the organizations. I want to say I don't think it's because our people didn't care. Right? I think it's because they didn't have the resource. We were running from one fire to another with Vietnam War helicopters and few firefighters just trying to put the fire out. But because of the way I actually wrote 1168, because it meant a lot to me that we weren't just going to be about responding to fires and making our landscapes more resilient, restoring our landscapes to be more able to fight firefighters, but they were actually helping our communities have the tool to be more resilient to a rapidly changing landscape, whether it's fires or floods, because we've responded to both. And in it, because those to me are the three legs of the stool of changing the trajectory on a wildfire. And in that community resilience, it was all about how do we get more funding to the community-based organizations that are on the ground, they speak the language, they understand the people in the community, understand what their greatest fears are, their greatest challenges, how to reach them, what they care most about, to door by door, neighborhood by neighborhood, church by school, reach them and be the tool and be the voice, because they can do it far better than we can. We just need to give them the resources to be able to be everywhere. And what I love about CAFE is they have taken this moment to truly reach out, not just past their doorstep or past their block or past their city or county, to start to expand the work throughout central and eastern Washington to the larger community, sort of breaking down those jurisdictional boundaries. Honestly, Washington State is going to be so much stronger the more we're creating that connective tissue between our community-based organizations and the communities they serve, no matter where they are. And that's what we have to do. We have to get more of those resources to them so they can help every single person in Washington State.
A local law enforcement veteran is the new director of the Wenatchee Valley's Emergency Dispatch Center. Former police captain Doug Jones was named yesterday as director of Rivercom, which coordinates police, fire, and rescue agencies as they respond to calls for help throughout Chelan and Douglas counties. Jones replaces Lowell Porter, who came on as executive director in 2021. Jones retired from the Wenatchee Police Department as a captain and spent the last 7 years as security director for Confluence Health. He's scheduled to begin his new role at Rivercom next month. The Brewster community will pay respects over Memorial Day to two young locals who died serving in Vietnam. Marvin E. Galbraith and John Timothy Lane were both Brewster natives killed in action in the spring of 1968, both at the age of 20. At the time of his death from a landmine explosion, Galbraith was a Marine Corps Lance Corporal. Lane was a private first class with the Army Infantry who threw himself on a hand grenade to save his fellow soldiers. Brewster's American Legion Columbia Post 97 will conduct a memorial service for both men at 9 a.m. on Saturday, May 27th at the Locust Grove Cemetery. The entire community is invited to participate. Two brothers have more than 60 years of accident-free driving between them as coach operators for Link Transit. In late 2022, Jose Torres was the first Link driver to reach the 30-year accident-free milestone, and then on Sunday, his brother Roberto hit the same goal. Both of them have been driving for Link Transit since the early 1990s. Richard DeRock, the general manager of the public transit service, says the two brothers set the highest standard for Link operators. Coming up next, we will bring you our weekly Pause for Pets feature from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, where we introduce you to Miriam the dog. Record high temperatures on tap tomorrow and Saturday before a big cool down arrives on Sunday and into next week. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. That and much more still to come tonight. Please stay with us. Time now for our weekly Pause for Pets feature from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Tonight we meet a pretty dog named Miriam.
Hi, I'm Coralie from with Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. I'm an animal care associate. So I get to spend time with all of our huskies that we have right now, including Miriam. She is an active 2-year-old husky, and she's really fun and lovely and just kind of the life of the party. If you know huskies, you know what that means. But she loves other dogs. We have her in playgroup, and she is always the first to lead them into the doggy pool. There'll be a whole dog pile of huskies, and she will be leading the pack. It's really funny to see. So Miriam came into us as a stray about a month or so ago, and she was just the easiest for me to take out for walks. Just right getting to know her was so simple. Miriam loves all dogs. She's really playful and happy. She would love to go on hikes with her family. We think that she'd be great with kids. We don't know about cats. It's hard for us to know that, but she's just one of those really friendly dogs. And we'd love for you to come to get to know her. So come on by and give her a visit. We are open Thursday through Tuesday from 11 till 6. We're closed for quiet hour between 1:30 and 2:30. So come on by.
Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. It warmed up as promised yesterday, but boy, we saw plenty of that smoky haze once again. There are at least 10 wildfires happening in British Columbia and Alberta right now, and a lot of that smoke is coming down into a lot of Washington state, and we certainly saw some of that today. Black Mountain camera, yeah, Leavenworth is down there, but a lot of that smoky haze around it probably actually kept our temperature down a little bit, even though we did get to 86 unofficially today. We thought we might get around 89, but that smoke kept us down a little. 72 is where we should be for a high temperature this time of year. A record 2006, we climbed to 97 degrees. This morning, another mild one, 61 degrees for an overnight low, 50 is normal, and our record cold 39 degrees set back in 1989. Sunrise 5:21, and the sun sets this evening at 8:35. All right, let's take a look at tomorrow. Possible record-setting high temperatures tomorrow and once again on Saturday. And there you have them. 93s in Ephrata and Moses Lake, 92 for Quincy, 91 in Wenatchee. That will be a new record high. Our old record for Friday, 88, so a good chance we'll break that. Leavenworth, 89, Eniat, 91, and Chelan, a hot 92 for you folks tomorrow. Taking a look at what we can expect tonight, pretty quiet out there, partly cloudy and mild. Here's that ridge of high pressure beginning to nose into the Pacific Northwest. Another mild one overnight tonight with lows in the lower 60s. As we get into Friday, look at the clear skies from Montana all the way to the coast and all the way down into the desert southwest. And yeah, warm temperatures, low to mid 90s for our highs tomorrow. And even warmer than that, folks, as we get into Saturday. Our old record is 89. We are going to be in the mid 90s. But look what develops in the afternoon. Some scattered thunderstorms on Saturday. So if you are outside, keep your eye on the sky, especially Saturday afternoon. Sunday, we're in for a little bit of a weather change. High pressure here, low pressure to our east. We're going to see some windy conditions, mostly sunny skies. And as the high moves a little bit north, it's going to allow a cooler northwest flow to move into Washington state. And by Monday, we will see some sun, mostly sunny skies. But boy, you're going to notice it a lot cooler for Monday. High temperatures only in the mid 70s, which by the way is still above normal for this time of year. And for Tuesday, lots of sunshine, but we're going to continue with those cooler temperatures. Once again, our airflow from the northwest, highs on Tuesday in the upper 70s. And then the warm-up begins once again as we get you into Wednesday. Mostly sunny skies, high pressure once again redeveloping in the Pacific, and we are going to jump up on Wednesday into the lower 80s. Let's take a look now at your 7-day forecast. Overnight tonight, 61 degrees, 91, which would be a record high tomorrow. 94 for Saturday, also would be a new record. But once again, be aware of some thunderstorms, a possibility on Saturday afternoon. Windy and cooler, 83 for Sunday. And then even cooler as we start our next work week. Monday, mostly sunny and 76. By Tuesday and Wednesday, mostly sunny to sunny skies with highs in the upper 70s to lower 80s. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
For the second game in a row, Boston jumped all over Seattle's starting pitcher in a 12-3 blowout win. The Red Sox hammered Marco Gonzalez for 8 runs on 8 hits in just 2 innings to make it a no contest early. It looked more like batting practice for Boston as they scored 3 runs in the first and 6 more in the second.
Second, Ref Snyder on at first. And a liner, base hit into center. Turner to third. Ran through the sign, the throw home, he dives and he's going to be safe. Everybody gets a head start with the pitch. And there they go. And there's a shot, a liner headed to the wall. 1 run in. Here comes Raffian to score, 2 in. And a double off the wall by Pablo Reyes. He jumped all over that baby. And the Sox are on top 3-0. 3 with 4 home runs. There's a swing and a drive. That one's up there, and that ball's gone. He strikes again. Up into the monster seats. 2-2. And he finds the hole into right field. Another run in. Ref Snyder scores. Let's put it this way. I think he's durable on the mound. There's a liner into center field. On the move, Rodriguez. That's by him. That's going to skip up against the wall. That's going to score a couple of runs. Yoshida in, Kike right behind him, and the Red Sox are rocking and rolling. They lead at 8-0. 3-2, and up the middle he goes for a base hit, and that'll score another run. Reyes heading home. 9-0 Boston.
Yeah, you get the gist there. Manager Scott Service says the last 2 days Seattle starters have not controlled the strike zone, and Boston made them pay.
Story of the game. Obviously, we knew coming into this series they had a really good offense. Needed to pitch well. We certainly did the first night in this series. The last couple nights got away from us. We just didn't execute pitches, and you look up and they got big numbers up on the board, and it's tough to come back when you get that far down. So, not a whole lot to say about this game. You know, you got to pitch well, and we just didn't execute and do what we needed to do on the mound early in the ball game to give us a chance. So, I'll take any questions. Yeah, you know, I think we drew 8 walks tonight. You know, we had some chances to kind of get back into the game. It was going to take a lot of big hits. Weren't able to come up with really much at all. You know, Cal had some good at-bats, hit some balls hard. But, again, got to let this one go. Got an off day tomorrow. You know, regroup. Obviously, we go into Atlanta. They got a good ball club there. But hopefully we've got to finish this road trip on a high note.
Seattle has a travel day today before beginning a weekend series in Atlanta tomorrow against the Braves. Well, the only really good news yesterday is that Seattle didn't lose any ground in the American League West. Jose Herrera's RBI sac fly and Ketel Marte's RBI single in the top of the ninth gave Arizona a 5-3 win over Oakland. Kyle Bradish helped the Angels to a 1-run on 4 hits, held them, that is, to 1 run on 4 hits with 5 strikeouts over 6 2/3 innings to help Baltimore beat LA 3-1. Orlando Arcia's solo home run in the top of the ninth completed an Atlanta comeback as the Braves edged Texas 6-5. Kyle Tucker's 2-run single in the bottom of the ninth inning gave Houston a walk-off 7-6 win over the Chicago Cubs at Minute Maid Park. The Astros trailed 6-1 heading into the 8th inning when they started the comeback, scoring 2 in the 8th and 4 more in the 9th to win it. The Wenatchee Panthers boys soccer team had its season end in a heartbreak on the road in Puyallup last night. The Vikings beat Wenatchee in a penalty kick shootout 2-1 in the first round of the WIAA State 4A soccer tournament. Wenatchee got on the board first on a goal by Anthony Garcia in the 32nd minute. Puyallup tied it just before half. 2 teams played the entire second half in 2 5-minute overtimes without scoring to send it to the shootout.
Collier down the sideline. Has his man cutting inside is Anthony Garcia towards the inline. Garcia keeps it alive, shot, and that'll go in. Garcia from a crazy angle. Wow. Anthony Garcia puts Wenatchee up 1-0 on Puyallup. Hand goes up, Williams puts it in play, a low shot, and there's the equalizer. Williams finds the foot. That looks like it was Jacob Goder. There's the whistle, run up. Shot is good for Williams. 1-0 Puyallup. Cruz Hernandez. No jumping around, all business, and Channy Vega gets blocked by Cruz Hernandez. Hooper gets the whistle on the run-up. Roby deflected but in. Chose the right side, did Tanner Russell. No, that is the danger of going second, and choosing right was Cruz Hernandez, but Mata crushed it. The run-up for Foster is good.
Cannot have a mistake here if you're Wenatchee.
Short run-up and connects. Garcia makes it 3-2. Here's the run up. Anderson chops his steps and sends it in. Almost sent it over, but able to knock it home. Zumock backs up. Run up and gets it. If he makes it, it's over. Goder backs up, gets the whistle, takes a breath on the run up. Goder's shot is good, and Puyallup wins.
Puyallup moves on, and Wenatchee's season comes to an end. Well, Chelan also had its soccer season come to an end in a shootout in Quincy last night, falling to Connell 2-1. The Goats scored the game's first goal in the 20th minute. Connell scored in the 7th minute to tie it. After 2 scoreless 5-minute overtimes, it went to a shootout where the Eagles came out on top. Now, what may be even worse for fans trying to watch the game on the NFHS network is that the automated camera in Quincy didn't pan to the end of the field where the shootout took place, so nobody watching online was able to see any of the goals in the shootout or who won. Well, after coaching the girls' varsity basketball program at Wenatchee High for 6 years, Patrick Loftus has been hired to take over the program in Cashmere. Cashmere Athletic Director Jeff Carlson announced this week that Loftus was hired to replace the departing Brent Darnell. Loftus coached the Wenatchee girls varsity team for 6 seasons after spending 2.5 years assisting the Wenatchee Panther boys team. He teaches math at Cashmere Middle and High School. NCWLIFE Channel reached out to Brent Darnell about his departure after leading the Bulldogs for 11 seasons and 7 top 3 finishes at state. He says it was a tough decision, but had to do it for personal reasons to spend more time with family. That's a look at sports news. Have a happy Thursday.
On the next edition of Wake Up in Angie Valley, it is back. Dangerous Women Unsettled 2023, put together by Rona Barron. Talk about what we talked about that our viewers can see.
Well, you're going to see a history of this area, but from the perspective of multiple cultures. Stacey Coronado is in the show. She's representing, along with others, the indigenous perspective. We have a Latina cast, we have an African-American perspective, and then a Caucasian perspective of pioneer times, all created by the women in the show. It's powerful, it's creative, it's luscious. People will love it.
It's all original, and it's this weekend at the Snowy Owl Theater on the campus of the Icicle Center for the Performing Arts. They'll be my guest on the next show.
And that will do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us, and have a great night.